But if we turn around and we're like, yeah, hell yeah, dude, he did so much for civil rights. Let's go build a statue of Bill Cosby. Everybody be like, what? Hell no, dude. No, you're not building a freaking statue of Bill Cosby. That dude was a rapist. What are you talking about? So, like, they're like, no, it's okay. It doesn't represent him being a rapist when we build the statue. It represents what he did for the civil rights movement when we do this statue of Bill Cosby. There's like, what the hell? What are you talking about? We're not doing that. This is ridiculous. Like, it just seems so ridiculous to make these arguments. But it's okay, like in these like very specifically uber woke scenarios. But like if we give you like other scenarios, like the one I just gave you, or the ones about the Confederates, like all of a sudden everybody's like, well, no, let's not do that. All right. So Brittany tweeted out, why is there even a statue of him? There's a statue, she tweeted out an article from Pix 11 News. It said, hashtag breaking, George Floyd statue vandalized in Union Square. Photos show, and this is the George Floyd statue just put up like a week ago in New York with a bunch of paint on his face. And her question was, why is there even a statue of him? CTV said, that's a good question. I don't understand it either. Hunter Avallone said, I'd be happy to debate you and Brittany about this. LOL. Why shouldn't we have a statue of George Floyd? Somebody else said he was unjustly murdered by the police, which sparked some of the largest protests in history. Just because you don't like him doesn't mean he's not a historical figure. So yeah, Hunter Avallone says he'll debate CTV or Brittany on this. So I quote tweeted him and said, this is not the hill to die on, homie. So Hunter responded and said, why? I don't see a problem with the statue. I especially don't condone vandalizing it. Yeah, now, I don't condone vandalizing it. I think that's ridiculous. But Brittany's question, she didn't say people should vandalize it. Brittany said, why is there even a statue? So, like, him bringing up the vandalization of the statue is kind of irrelevant, right? Nobody was condoning the vandalizing. Nobody said that was okay. So, Java Bolt said the argument that's going to be made is that George Floyd isn't an honorable person, therefore he shouldn't have his own statue. And Low End Theory, he was on here last week, said, damn, sounds like a great case to take down tons of statues. Java Bolt said, I don't disagree. Low End Theory said, I feel you. I know you agree, but it will show blatant hypocrisy or people like Brit, or for people like Brit, unless you agree all statues shouldn't exist. Now, that's actually kind of my position. So Mio responded to Hunter and said, just when I thought you couldn't get any more pathetic. Hunter said, maybe we can chat about it when I'm live. Mio said, if the internet is still alive. I guess he was saying that because the whole Facebook, Instagram thing, Facebook and Instagram went down today. Like, the conspiracy theorists all started saying that the internet wasn't going to exist anymore. That, the central code for these websites have been taken down, blah, blah, blah. So I responded to Hunter because he said, why I don't see a problem with the statue. I especially don't condone vandalizing it. I said statues generally commemorate a person or something they did. Normally, I make the case this is why Confederate statues should be taken down. What happened to George was horrible, but that doesn't make him some sort of hero or a great person. This is woke going for overkill. And it is. Like, it seems as though, like, this is, like, it just seems so unnecessary, so ridiculous to be like, hey, let's go put up a statue of a guy who fought the cops, had a counterfeit dollar bill, or like counterfeit money, was high on drugs, and um and then resisted arrest when the police showed up, and like that. Yes, that guy. Let's commemorate him. Let's make him the some great symbol, which just seems ridiculous, right? Like, and I understand that he like will live on in that way, like being looked at as like someone who helped spark off a movement, right? He helped. He was a big part of the movement getting started, and I marched with BLM numerous times, and I was happy to work with. What's up, Carissa? I, I just messaged Hunter trying to tell him to come jump on and talk to me about this. He hasn't answered me yet, but it like I the statue was privately funded and temporary. I think, like, so this is my issue. I think that everybody who was he's asleep. Well, maybe I'll talk to him tomorrow. I got all day tomorrow, so I look. I think it was weird for people, and I said this earlier on, like in the year as well, or last year, when I said, like, it's really weird that they keep putting his face on T-shirts. It's really weird that they're naming streets after him. It, like, all of these things are kind of strange, and I'm not, some like crazy reactionary who's like, oh, he was a druggie and a drug dealer and a pedophile and all of those things. Like, I don't care so much about that. It's that this is not like the symbol. This is not the symbol to go for. This is not the way you do this. And it seems super hypocritical from them to be like, when Southerners are talking about how I want my statues to stay up because they symbolize Southern heritage to me and Southern pride. Like, there are so many other things that I think of when I see Robert E. Lee or some bullcrap like that. It is not me, but this is what they say, right? They say that, like, it matters, and it like it represents my lineage and my forefathers. It like brings the South together and shows how far we've come. Like, these are things that they say, well, this is what it represents to me, right? And everybody else looks at the statues and they're like, okay, cool, like that's what it represents to you, maybe, but like that was a bad person, right? Like they fought in the Civil War, they fought to keep slaves. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you can say, like, maybe they fought for states' rights or something like that, but the states' rights that they were fighting for was to keep slaves. So, like, go ahead and make that freaking argument if you want. But, like, the point is that everybody in that thread, they're all making the same exact arguments as all of the Confederate statue wanters, apologizers, whatever. Do you think it's odd for the 9/11 victims to have their names engraved permanently? Or is it somehow different than a statue? I would say that's probably different than a statue, but like, I just, like, to me, a statue, especially out in public, of a person is commemorating that person or something they did, right? It's either the life they lived or something that they did that was heroic or something like that, right? So, say, like, Bill Cosby is this great, like, he was one of the first black people in comedy. He was on network television with this all black cast, and he really, like, built bridges for the black community to be able to get into entertainment and to get into acting and to get into comedy. Like he really did so much to move uh black people farther within the entertainment business. Like he did so much for them. But if we turn around and we're like, yeah, hell yeah, dude, he did so much for civil rights. Let's go build a statue of Bill Cosby. Everybody be like, what? Hell no, dude. No, you're not building a freaking statue of Bill Cosby. That dude was a rapist. What are you talking about? So, like, they're gonna be like, no, it's okay. It doesn't represent him being a rapist when we build the statue. It represents what he did for the civil rights movement when we do this statue of Bill Cosby. They're gonna be like, what the hell? What are you talking about? We're not doing that. This is ridiculous. Like, it just seems so ridiculous to make these arguments. But it's okay, like in these like very specifically uber woke scenarios. But like if we give you like other scenarios, like the one I just gave you, or the ones about the Confederates, like all of a sudden everybody's like, well, no, let's not do that. But I'm going to make the same exact arguments as anybody who would defend the Confederate statues. Like, I'm going to make all those same arguments, but I disagree when they say it. I'm right when I say it. Why? How is that one different? I think engraved names are different because, one, like, you're just, like, naming them off, right? So it's the same like with military members, like we put their names on walls and stuff like that. Like we're just saying like, yes, this person was here, this person did this thing. But building a statue of somebody when you are engraving their face as meaning like it is that person, right? It is the person that we are commemorating here. And normally it's just them, right? So like in New York where they built these statues, I think they have 3 there. One of them was Breonna Taylor. One of them was George Floyd. Like it's not a whole list of thousands of people there. It's not 1,000 statues that George Floyd just happened to end up in. No, it's just 3 statues there. They are only commemorating those people. And even like Breonna Taylor had a pretty shaky past and like had dead bodies in the back of her car, and she was under investigation for drug smuggling and drug sales when she died. Like it doesn't, like, she didn't get convicted of anything, so it doesn't matter all that much. But my point is like it like when you statues themselves are commemoration of that person, and this is exactly what we say when we look at the Civil War generals that were built by or built in the South. Floyd didn't deserve to die. He was one of many who were wrongly killed by police. Thanks for that. Yeah, who's saying he deserved to die? I don't know what the point is. How do you separate innocent people from George Floyd? What do you mean by that? Should we take the founding fathers statues down because some of them being slave owners? I mean, some people believe we should. But in those cases, the founding fathers were commemorated because of things that they actually did, right? Like there were things that they did that makes it to where we commemorate them. They did a lot of great things for America's founding to where like we're able to have this great country that we have now. Like they did things that are worthy of being commemorated. And so, like I said, it's either the person that is being commemorated or something that the person did that is being commemorated. But George Floyd didn't do anything. Like there was nothing that he did that was heroic or amazing, or like he didn't do anything. Something happened to him. And it just seems odd that like he didn't do anything great. He didn't He wasn't this like great, amazing person. I'm not saying he's a horrible person or the worst person in the world either. Like I've been to prison. I've done hella drugs. I've stolen lots of stuff. I worked with counterfeit money. Like I did all of those things too. So I'm not like hating on him as though he's this horrible freaking person. But nobody, I would think it was weird if people wanted to go out there and make statues of me unless I had done something special. Like if unless I had done something amazing and great and heroic and like, you know, like it would seem weird. Especially like I got my kneecap shattered, right? Cops came, beat the freaking crap out of me, shattered my kneecap, busted up my head. Like they beat the crap out of me. If they turned around and made a statue of me because cops beat the crap out of me, I feel like, what? Make a statue of the cops. Like they're the ones who did something. Like make a statue of them beating the crap out of somebody, right? Like that would almost make more sense. They're like would you mind if I talk to you about this? I know oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. There should be a link in the description for my Discord. Most people who died in 9/11 didn't do anything great. They were innocent people who died. Why is George Floyd different? I already answered that. Because, like, putting people's names up, putting up, like, a bunch of names on a thing, like, that's not the same as a statue. It's just not. It's not the same at all. Like, you listing off names of people who died with thousands of other people, fine. You put George Floyd's statue with thousands of other statues, that makes sense. Like, sure, it's just like he's just one amongst a bunch of other statues. That seems to make sense. There's nothing special about that one George Floyd statue. But in this case, yes, he is right smack in the center of all three statues, right in the middle of this park. Yeah, seems pretty weird. Yeah, I get you, Big Buckin, and I said the same thing when I was on y'all's show a long time ago. As I said the same exact thing. Like when everybody was saying, no, we need to keep these Civil War statues because they represent our history and how far we've come, or they represent our heritage, or all of these other things. I said, then one, you don't make it of a person, because if you make it of a person, it represents that person, and that person that you made these statues of, that person fought in the Civil War to keep slavery. Second, if you want to make something like a statue to Carissa, you're not in the waiting room, you're in the VC. But yeah, if you want to make here, Carissa, are you able to hear me? Do you have the stream on? I will walk you through this real quick. What was I saying? Okay, so yeah, but yeah, if we want statues for history, like that, we put those in museums, not out on like public property or out for everybody to see. Now, these were privately funded and on private property. I think it's perfectly fine. No big deal. Who cares? But if it's not,